In this tutorial, I'm going to be revealing to you 8 secrets, 8 tricks, 8 hacks in Pixellab that you literally don't know about. Alright, if that sounds good, let's get started. Alright, so open your Pixellab, and the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to make a holo test without using any special font. Alright, we are going to be using the normal font, but we're going to make a holo test. Alright, so without wasting much time, let's get started. So click on the test and click on edit, and after that enter whichever test that you want to enter. So in my case, I'll enter SERENE. Our channel name is SERENE Art, so I'm going to enter SERENE and then click OK. Increase the size of it. So right here, what I'm going to do next is to go back to color. The next thing that I'm going to do is click on a plus icon, and we have 3 bars over here. The first one, which is the red one, okay, depending on which color that your color picker is on, the color at the top may be different. Okay, so we have the first bar, the second one, which is like the black one, and the third one, which deals with transparency. We have the transparent side and the thick side. All right, so what you have to do basically is to make sure that you move the slider all the way down to the transparent side. All right, so once you move it to the transparent side like this, so after that you just click on OK. So once you click on OK, you come back to your working space. You've seen that your letter that you're writing over here has, like, it's gone. Okay, it's not showing. Just go ahead and click on a check mark, come back all the way down to stroke and click on stroke. All right, click on enable. Boom, you have your holo test. All right, if you want to change the color of your test, just change the color of your stroke and you are good to go. Okay, all right, so that is the first trick that we just discovered. Now let's move on to the next one. What is the next thing on the list? All right, so let's go ahead and delete this particular one because we'll not be using it, so let's just delete it. All right, so the next thing that we'll be doing is how to add different color to the same test without duplicating the test. All right, just like this one, we will add different colors to the same test without duplicating it. All right, so let's go ahead and enter a test again, and in this case you're going to use SERENE, the same thing. All right, you're going to use SERENE for this one as well. So here we are, we have our letter typed over here boldly, so we have it as SERENE Art. We're using SERENE for that matter. All right, so we have it right here like this. So what we need to do is go ahead and click on color, but make sure your letter A is selected. Letter A stands for the test, so you click on it. Make sure that it is highlighted before you are doing all these things. So you click on color. So once you come here, this is where the magic happens. All right, the slider over here. All right, so in this case, let's select only R. Okay, let's select only R. So once R is selected like this, we can change the color of it and it will change without any hesitation. All right, so we've changed the color of the letter R without having to duplicate the test. So this is a trick that will surely help you in your graphic designing work. So that is that. If you want to add any color to any portion of your test, just make sure that you highlight the test and you go ahead and add a color to it. All right, so let's move on to the next trick, and the next trick that we have to do is how to add different fonts to the same test without having to duplicate the test. It's quite similar to how to add different colors to the same test without having to duplicate it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it and see what's up. So we're still going to use the same test. I'm not going to change it, but then let's change the color to become 1, and after that then we can go ahead and work with it. All right, so here we are, we have the test over here. In this case, we are going to change the font of SE in the SERENE. All right, you're going to change the font of SE in the SERENE. So let's click on the font, And we have several basic fonts over here. If you want to download fonts whereby you have quite a number of them installed on your phone, that is the Pixellab, you can go ahead and check the tutorial on my channel. The tutorial is already there, how to download fonts, and the font is almost downloaded for thatfont.com. You can go ahead and download any font at all that you want to use. All right, but in this tutorial I wouldn't like to use any special font. I'll go with the basic font. Okay, so let's assume this is the font that we have for our test, like the fourth one. Now, to change the font of any test, like in this case we are changing the font of SE in the SERENE, so let's just select the SE. So after selecting the SE, all that we need to do is to come and select a font, and boom, the SE will change. All right, we just have to come and do this and the SE will change automatically. So here is it. This is what we have. All right, we can see that the SE is different from the RENE in the SERENE. The SE is different from the RENE. So that is how to add a font to a test. All right, a font to part of a test, okay, without having to duplicate the test and do other things. You can do all straightforward. All right, so that is it. The next thing that we would like to do is how to add a shadow. All right, so let's delete everything right here. Okay, and the background color, let's change it to something else. I think I'll go with this color. Let me change it a bit. Okay, I think I'll go with this one. All right, so let's go ahead and enter our text. Let me use shadow in this case. So I'll type shadow, and after that I'll just make it bold. Alright, so this is the text that we are having, and all that we need to do is to add shadow to it. Now, to add a shadow, just go all the way down to 3D text. Alright, click on it, check it, and select oblique. Once you select oblique, increase the depth all the way to 100. After increasing it to 100, come and click on color, select color, and the color that you choose, it should be the color same as the background color. Please take note over here, the color should be the same as the background color. So in this case, we are selecting the first one, this. And you can play around with the darkness, adjust it to your satisfaction. All right, so once you are satisfied, you leave it over there. Okay, so after doing that, just come back, play with the angle. All right, play with the angle. Once you're satisfied, just go down. Once you're satisfied, just go down to simulate lighting. All right, simulate lighting, make sure you disable it. All right, so let's disable it, and there we go, we have this. Now, what we have to do to make our work look a bit nice, look professional, you can see that at the bottom of it there is some kind of thing showing over there which doesn't make our work look much more professional. So let's go ahead and add a shape to it and add a gradient, then we work it out. So what as I do is to click on gradient. So once you click on a gradient, come and click on the plus sign, and from here, as this slider is selected, click on the last button over here, which is the color drop icon. Click on it and click on the eye drop icon over here, then you pick a color from the background. All right, click on a check mark, click OK, and after that, come back and click on the next slider over here, which is here. Then go ahead and click on the color drop button again, click on the eye drop button, select the color. After selecting this, just come back and click and move the slider, the down one, move it all the way down to transparency, and click on OK. So once you've done that, go ahead and click on OK, and here you have your element. So what you have to do is just make sure that you increase it. Okay, you increase the thickness a bit, all right, the opacity, and place it over here like this. Then you are good to go. Click on a check mark, and there you go, we have our 3D shadow basically aligned over here. Alright, so that is it. And the next trick that I'll be showing you is how to split a text into two. So let me delete this and we go ahead without quickly. So let me enter a text quickly. I'll use rainfall. Alright, so we just have to get it underway. Let's make it a bit bold. Alright, so we have it right here, and let's think of what to do next. So the next thing that we have to do is just make a copy of it, but then let's align it to the center of the working area. Alright, so once it has been aligned, let's just go ahead and make a copy of it and bring the copy also to the middle and push it down a bit. Okay, I think this is okay. Now the next thing that we would like to do is to add a shape. So we click on shapes. Once you click on shapes, just make sure that you work on the size of the shape well. After working on the size of the shape, you can just place it on the work and see how best it's gonna look. Alright, so you have your shape right here. Just make sure that you play around it nicely. Okay, so we are assuming that we want to cut this text. Alright, this particular text, we want to split it into two. So quickly, let's go ahead and select our first layer. Make sure that we arrange it properly. So I'm going to stretch the size. Okay, I'm going to stretch the size a bit. Okay, I think this is okay for us to use. So let's first of all select the first rainfall at the top, the text that we've entered. Let's select it. So after selecting it, let's click on a masking tool. Alright, so we'll be using the masking tool in this tutorial, so watch it carefully. This is how we do it, so just watch it and you'll be good. Alright, so we've cleaned the first part. Now the next thing for us to do is to clean the second part of the rainfall. Now we've selected it, we select the same masking tool and we come back. This time around we push it all the way to the opposite side. We make sure it is in alignment like this, straight on your shape that you've inserted. Alright, so here we are, we have the rainfall being splitted into two. You can decide to change the color of your text or leave it like this. Example, if you want to change the color, just come and select any color at all that you want to use for your work. Okay, you can select any color at all you want to use. If you are cool with it, then you go along with it as well. Alright, so basically that is how to split a text. You can also merge them if you wish. You can merge them if you wish. Alright, you can merge them. So if you want to merge them, this is what you're gonna do. First of all, change the color of this particular shape to a similar color to one of them. It can either be the blue, black, or the green. So I think I'm gonna go with the green. Alright, so you can merge the three like this to become one, so that you move them anywhere at all you want. Alright, so you can even design a logo for a client using this format. Alright, so having talked about this, let's move on to the next trick. Alright, the next trick is how to make a curvy background. All right, how to make a curvy background. So let's delete this and go ahead with our curvy background tutorial. So with the curvy background, let's insert a shape. All right, so here is a shape that we've wanted to insert, and it is right here. Okay, we click on a check mark. We position the shape into the middle, then click on a check mark. After that, we click on a masking tool again, and this time around we push it all the way to the top. Then after that, we make sure that we adjust everything to be equally aligned. We make sure that our curve that we are forming with the masking tool, it is properly aligned. So we click on enable and click on a copy icon. Once you click on a copy icon, come and click on a transformation tool, then you move it around to see exactly where it needs to be fit. All right, so once you are satisfied with it, okay, with your cutting, you can just go ahead and place it as wherever you want to place it. Okay, so just make sure that you work this out neatly to avoid any other thing. All right, I think this size is okay for us to use. So what we need to do is to just rotate it a bit and send it to the top. Okay, this is all that we need to do. After that, you just make a copy of it. It is all about making a copy and repeating it. So you copy, repeat, place it nicely. You repeat this pattern throughout. You repeat this thing throughout. So having done this, you can just go ahead and merge the layers. Okay, just merge them and you are good to go. You can also go ahead and change the color if you want. All right, if you want to change the color, you can go ahead and do that. Pretty cool. Just make sure that you merge all the layers before doing any other change, so that your work will not be tedious for you. You do everything smoothly. Alright, if you want to change the color of it, you can just go ahead and change the color. You can change it to any form at all you want to change it to. So just to make sure that you make a transparent background. If you also want to reduce the opacity, you can go ahead and do that by reducing the opacity small. If you want to make the background to be that of a gradient, you can also go ahead and do that. Alright, you select a nice gradient, then you work around with it. Okay. That's how we make a curvy background. Okay, so the next thing that we would like to do next is to make a diminishing background. All right, so let's go ahead and do that quickly. Let's select the background color and we work with it. So I will select this blue black for now. Then for the diminishing background, this is how it works. All that we need to do is to enter a full stop or dot, all right, severally. So let's go ahead and do that for us. So you just have to copy it and paste, because you cannot be doing it severally. Just make sure you copy and paste, copy and paste. Okay, that's how we do it. For it to be pretty cool for you, that's how we do it, man. This is becoming super easy. Alright, so I think this trick gonna help you a lot in your use of Pixellab. And the last one is what you can't afford to miss, and we are almost there. The eighth one, that is what you can't afford to miss, and we are getting to it. Alright, let's click down and see what we have. Alright, so this is what we have. Okay, so let's go ahead and reduce the size of it a bit. Alright, so I'm increasing the size of it. In a bit. So once that is done, the next thing that we do is just make sure that we reduce the space in between the dots. Alright, so reducing the space between the dots makes your work look professional, as the background also looks kind of diminishing. Alright, so that is what we've been working on. So you can see it is entering your eyes. That's one kind of diminishing background. Alright, so we've come to the very last one. Let's jump into it straightforward, which deals about bulky editing. Alright, so I wouldn't like to take much of your time, so let's get to that quickly. Let me go ahead and delete this. So let me select the background color. So now here is the bulky editing. Here is how it works. Let me just import one image to the background and let's work with it. So assuming we are working on this design, okay, assuming we are working on this and we also have some shapes be inserted into the work. Okay, we also have some shapes inserted right here. Then we want to work with the shape as well, and with the shape we also have some other things inserted. Then we would like to work with all of them together. So let's assume the shape is here and we have some text around over here. I always like to use SERENE. So we have the SERENE over here as the text also. So what we can do basically in terms of bulk editing is we can just go ahead and select these three things. Then after that, just click on this editing tool. Alright, so when you click on any tool over here, you can move these three things together. Okay, you can move them together. In terms of alignment, you can also use this to help you work easier. Alright, you can move them together. When you're satisfied, click on a check mark. Alright, so that is it. If you also want to do any other thing, just come back and click on the editing, then come and if you want to hide them, yeah, click on the eye icon. Then that means you've hidden the three together. You can also come and select the three, click on editing, then bring them back together like this. So it is a pretty cool way of bulk editing. You edit so many things at a go. Alright, if you want to rotate them, just click over here, rotate them like this anyhow you want. Okay, you can see the three are rotating. That is how we do it. Alright, so you come back, select, don't merge them, click on the edit icon. Then if you want to lock them, click on the padlock sign. If you want to reduce the size, click on this and you'll be able to increase and decrease the size, okay, like this. Alright, so I think this is pretty much cool and it's going to help you a lot in your designing works. Alright, so guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to see you in the next tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel as we bring you amazing tutorials each and every week. We drop 2 tutorials at least for you to watch and better your designing works. Alright, so go ahead and smash that like button and click on the subscribe button, turn on the notification for this channel. All right, bless up.